All right. Well, anyhow, thank you for being here. Sorry for the technical glitches. And if you're here, it's probably because um, you might be going through some hormone issues, or you have a family member who is dealing with some hormonal issues. And so you want to know, how can you actually have happy hormones? Obviously, our hormones play a huge role in our overall health. And unfortunately, as women, I think I'm appreciative that now there seems to be more education out there as how our bodies actually work. But many of us were not taught either at home or at school how our bodies work, because our moms didn't really understand because they weren't told. So it's been this whole domino effect. But here today to talk a little bit about our hormones so that you can understand how your body works and how to best give it the love that it needs. So let's talk about if your hormones are running the show. So if you are someone who experiences chronic fatigue, if your hair is falling out, hormone imbalance, lightheaded, low libido, moody, irritable, if you're craving sweet and salty foods, it's possible that your hormones are running the show in your case, and they could be making you feel anxious and annoyed and worn out. But it's absolutely crucial that we have balance between our hormones, and that our lifestyle and our health is acting in a way that is allowing us to have more balanced hormones. Because we have so many hormones in our body, it's not just one hormone. There are many different types of hormones in our body. But usually the ones that cause the most havoc on our body are out of balance, are adrenal, thyroid, and sex hormones. But they all work together as well. So if one is thrown off, it could be that the other is thrown off as well. I'll give you an example. So thyroid hormones affects your sex hormones. Adrenal hormones affect your thyroid hormones, and the sex hormones affect your adrenal hormones. So you see, they're all interconnected. So if you have issues with one, probably the other, and it's a snowball effect from there. So when that happens, that means that there are then consequences for our endocrine system. The adrenal glands are located just above your kidneys, and they're known for our fight or flight responses. So this is natural and it's necessary for us. We need that to have that reaction. But it also can cause our cortisol levels to spike, because then we go into stress mode. We need them because it protects us in high stress situations. But when it comes to the daily stresses of life, that's when our adrenals can go into overdrive. So if you're tired and lightheaded, and you struggle with sleep, it could be that your adrenals are the ones that are running the show in your case. When it comes to the thyroid gland, your thyroid performs so many tasks in your body. It regulates your metabolism, energy, your body temperature even, and hormone production. And that impacts obviously everything else in your body. So if your hair is falling out, or you're cold all the time, especially your limbs, like your hands, your feet, you're chronically tired, it could be that your thyroid hormone is running the show. So sometimes it's going too fast, and other times it's going too slow. So that's hyperthyroidism, is when it's going too fast, and hypo is when it is too slow. So your estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, they also play a huge role in your overall health. Everything from your reproductive system to your muscles, your muscle tone, chronic stress, improper nutrition, low vitamin D. I think most of us probably suffer from low vitamin D these days. Unhealthy gut balance, yeast overgrowth. All of these things actually can affect your estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone levels. And when that happens, it causes uncomfortable symptoms, like your cycle is off throughout the month. You have dietary sensitivities, so maybe sensitive to gluten or dairy. You have hormonal acne, amongst other things. So in this complex web of hormones, it could very well be that these key players are what's causing your symptoms. It could even be calling you to have for your hair to be falling out. Now, just one thing I wanted to mention that, because a lot of people around this time do lose hair. I wouldn't automatically say, oh, I'm losing my hair, that means there's an issue with my thyroid. No, usually between the months of September and November are months that we do actually shed hair, kind of like animals shed, right? During summer months, and then they regrow during the winter months. It's kind of the same for us. Our bodies go through cycles. So it might not automatically mean that you do have a thyroid issue if your hair is falling out. It could be, but just don't automatically go through that, especially if you notice it doesn't happen the rest of the year, but during these months it does. So let's take a deeper dive into a more holistic view of health. So a lot of the times our brains tend to think in black and white scenarios. If we have natural options, then we can't use conventional ones. And that's just not true, right? We try to live a low tox life as much as possible, but we still live in the real world. And there are times where we might need conventional medication, and we're so appreciative for that. But making small shifts in the way we think can get us to where we want to be. When we look at our health and our lives more as a holistic, so that just means as a whole, in a whole perspective. So what we eat, how our emotions affect us, all of those things, how our bodies work as a whole. For instance, your brain tells your ovaries when to ovulate. Whole system, right? It's not just one system in your body. Everything is interconnected. So let's talk about fevers, for instance. Did you know that a fever is your natural response to your body when it comes into contact with something that it's needing to fight off? So it's your body trying to kill off whatever is making you feel ill. And a lot of doctors will tell you to let fevers run its course so that your body can mount its defenses against the infection or the injury. So that doesn't mean that you just sit in discomfort all day long, right? If there's a very high fever, there's a more holistic view to the situation. For instance, if you apply lemon and peppermint to your feet and spine, it can be super soothing. And when there's a fever, that makes you comfortable while your body is allowing you to fight off whatever it is fighting off. So we are made in a way that our body supports itself when we give it the tools that it's needed in order to do so. So we're going to shift our focus now to a holistic view of our lives and health so that we can move towards something a little bit better for ourselves and include our hormone health amongst our overall health. So let's talk about the science of essential oils and oil-infused supplements. So we're going to get a little bit sciencey, and if you see me looking off, it's because I have notes, because this is quite a complicated topic. So just briefly, we're going to talk about how fascinating essential oils are. They really are a way to harness the incredible power of nature. They're the aromatic compounds in shrubs, flowers, roots, leaves, stems, and other parts of the plant. And the power of essential oils, it lies in the individual constituents and the synergy between the constituents of the plant or leaf or flower, whatever it is that's being used. So an example of a constituent in an essential oil are terpenes, monoterpenes, sesquiterpenes, phenols. And these are just chemistry words that describe the physical structure of each constituent and how each constituent can then harmoniously work along with our bodies to help it in what it's needing. So why does this matter? The reason is because the specific structure allows essential oils to penetrate cell membranes in your body, and that allows it to travel through your blood and tissues to get to where it needs to go. Each cell in your body is surrounded by a lipid membrane. And that's good because we don't want to allow just anything inside your cell, right? If anything was able to penetrate into your cell, obviously that would be quite dangerous. But oils are amazingly perfectly designed because they have small ringed structures, and they're lipid soluble. So that means they're able to go into your lipid cell membrane and get into your bloodstream and your tissues as well. So that's why it makes so much sense that Young Living adds essential oils into these supplements, so that the supplements can get easier into your tissues, into your bloodstream. There are lots of studies on that. If you want to know about specific studies, you can ask me or whoever invited you to this class too. On PubMed, there's a ton of studies on how essential oils work in relation to our body. So that is what makes our supplements so special. As we go along and talk about supplements, it's not just the ingredient of the supplement, it's our essential oils added into the supplement. Now, let's talk about how nourishing our hormones with Ningxia, Green Omega, Super B, and Mineral Essence are so vital. So the same way that our physical bodies and our hormones need nourishment to keep sending appropriate signals to the appropriate cells to get the appropriate responses. So our adrenals and our thyroid and endocrine system, we're lacking vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and nutrients. And so when that happens, the rest of your body goes out of whack. It's kind of like when you have your period. When you bleed, you're losing nutrients, right? And that's why you have a bunch of other symptoms that happen. You need to replenish those nutrients so that you don't feel those symptoms as much. It's the same thing with any other hormone that might be out of balance. We're needing to replenish the minerals and the nutrients into our body so that there is more harmony between them. So Ningxia Red is that antioxidant powerhouse that is going to give you the highest protection against free radicals. Free radicals are what attack our body so that we're not getting the oxygen that we need. And when your cells and your brain doesn't get the oxygen it needs, we know, right, what can happen when that's the case. So by Ningxia Red with the antioxidants fighting that off, it allows the oxygen to flow through your body better. With Green Omegas, I am such a fan of these new Green Omegas. If you've heard of omega-3 fatty acids being great for your hormones, it's 100% true. The difference is, even Young Living, we used to have fish oil, right? It was made through fish oil, and most omegas that we take is fish oil. However, did you know that omegas do not come from fish? Fish consume the algae, right, on rocks or in the bottom of the ocean, and that is what contains omegas. So the fish are consuming the omegas they need, and then we consume fish. Now we're getting it secondhand. Let's just go to the source, which is the algae that it comes from, and have it straight from there. So that's why it's called Green Omega-3, because we're getting it right from the source now. Why are they so important? Well, because omegas really help with your mood, your emotions, and your hormones. It's just a high quality source of omegas that we'll be getting that is without the fishy smell as well, which is really nice. Also, Super B, incredible for your brain, for brain fog. If you deal with that, a lot of times when you have thyroid issues, adrenal issues, it causes a lot of brain fog. Vitamin B really helps support your energy levels, your mood, your endocrine system, your emotions, and many other things. And then you have Mineral Essence, which is one of my favorites to add into the Ningxia drink. Just adding a few droppers of Mineral Essence is so vital. Even if you are someone who eats a lot of veggies and fruits and all of that, you're still not getting the minerals that you need, because the food from the ground, that the soil doesn't have the minerals that we need anymore. It's being depleted. So the soil doesn't have the minerals we need, then that means the vegetables and the fruits don't have the minerals that we need, and meat doesn't have the minerals that we need. So we do need to supplement it now, because we're not getting truly what we need from the soil as we used to. It also is infused with peppermint, cinnamon bark, and lemon. And those are essential oils that help with our digestive system. It contains antioxidants, helps with our immune system. So it's a fantastic addition to mineral essence in order to be able to get your iron, magnesium, zinc, selenium, all of those deficiencies that you might be dealing with. Okay, how about hot flashes, cramps, PMS, and the she dragon within? So what we've talked about thus far, it can be for men or women, right? Can deal with that. But when it comes to hot flashes, cramps, and PMS, obviously that's directed towards us women. So obviously these are hormone-related issues that many have to face. But did you know that although they are common, very common, they're not normal? They should not happen. But many women struggle with hot flashes if they're going to perimenopause, menopause, cramps with their period, PMS, emotions going all crazy, right, throughout the month. Why does that happen? Well, it's because of hormones, diet, lack of sleep, inflammation even, physiological and physical stress, the world we live in. So all of this, knowing that it's not normal means, okay, now we have to figure out why it is that we're having this symptom, and we have to learn how to treat it. So when it comes to the endocrine system, Endogize and Endoflex is a great one. If you do have thyroid, need support with your thyroid, Endoflex is a great one, as well as Endogize. The endocrine system, what it does is that it produces hormones, and your hormones then tell your body what to do and when to do that thing. So when your hormones aren't firing off right, then nothing is right. Everything is off. Everything that you feel, you just feel crazy inside almost, right? Like you don't know how to control your emotions and why it is that you feel or you're thinking a certain way. Your endocrine system, the primary aim is to maintain a stable and a balanced internal environment, so your homeostasis. The body does that by regulating functions like your metabolism, growth, sleep, breathing, sexual development, through a series of glands that release hormones into your bloodstream. Then these hormones travel to your organs and the tissues of your body, and they signal cells. And these cells act in certain ways for cell growth and function. There are 8 major glands in your endocrine system, and that includes your pituitary gland, your hypothalamus, your thyroid, your parathyroid, your adrenals, your pineal glands, pineal body, your reproductive glands, which is the testes and ovaries. And each of these then play a significant role in how your body functions. They determine how much energy you have and how your energy is stored within your body. Even how your body controls fluid, the salt and sugar levels that your body has, your bloodstream, and even your emotional responses. So if even a very small level of hormones are off, you can see how it then now can trigger a significant amount of reactions in your body. So we'll talk about one of them, the hypothalamus. It's directly connected to your olfactory system, right? So what you smell, your sense of smell. That's when aromatherapy enters and why it's so amazing, because studies have shown that scents carried in an oil base register immediately in the hypothalamus, and it bypasses your brain's need to figure out what that is. That's why essential oils, again, are so amazing, because our endocrine system is obviously very important. So if you support it well, you might be able to feel like a totally different person. You might be able to realize that you're sleeping better. Your weight is even adjusting better. You're moving more. You feel more like yourself. When your hormones are off, you don't feel like yourself, right? And there's a lot of memes and jokes about women when you're on your period and you know, the PMS and the dragon lady and all of that. You know, they're jokes, but in reality, it's your hormones that are firing off wrongly. So it's kind of not nice when jokes like that are made, because they're making fun of a system that's actually backfiring on us. So we want our body to act the way it should. And so Endoflex is basically the personal trainer for your endocrine system. So if you're needing healthy thyroid function, hormone balance, healthy metabolism, adrenal health, Endoflex is absolutely great. It has a blend of spearmint, sage, geranium, myrtle, German chamomile, nutmeg. Nutmeg is amazing for adrenal support. If you're needing adrenal support, look into nutmeg for sure. And then you pair that with the Endogize, and Endogize is basically a woman's daily hormone support supplement that also has minerals, essential oils, herbs, ashwagandha, if you've ever heard of ashwagandha as well. It helps with hormone balance and stress reduction. It also contains DHEA. A lot of women that are going into menopause deal with DHEA issues. So that might be something that you want to look into too as well. So how can you have like daily happy, healthy, or happy hormone habits? You can apply Endoflex daily over your thyroid area, your kidneys or your feet. You can take Endoflex Vitality in a capsule. So you can put, a drop of Endoflex, fill the rest with olive oil or whatever you want and take it that way. You can put them into Epsom salts, and pairing it with Progestins Plus is like phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Okay, estrogen and progesterone. So when we discuss hormones, we start talking about estrogen and progesterone. Most women are high in estrogen and deficient in progesterone. And it could be as well that what happens is that even if your estrogen is normal, your progesterone still might be too low. It might not be getting to the levels that it needs, or your progesterone might be okay, but your estrogen is then so high that it doesn't allow the progesterone to show up and be evident and working in your body. It's just a lack of balance. It could be that you're not able to get rid of the estrogen in your body. And that's why your body feels out of sync. So it's not something just needed by women in childbearing years. It's a part of female health until you die, pretty much. It's part of your female nature. So if you don't have your progesterone levels where they need to be, you're going to not feel like yourself. So estrogen, talking about that for a second, is first attached to a cell. Then it basically grabs hands with progesterone. So if the progesterone isn't there, the estrogen begins to inhibit the chemical process that is supposed to happen, and it can begin a process of mutation if it's not finding its friend progesterone to grab onto. So even though we still need estrogen, if you don't have estrogen, that's obviously half of the puzzle that you need. But we get so much from foods, plastic and chemicals, and home and self-care products, medications, and more. And many of these are xenoestrogens, which are artificial estrogens. Our bodies can't process that the same way as natural estrogen. And that just causes, unfortunately, our hormones to go into chaos. So basically, you need both estrogen and progesterone. They're both important, but they need to be balanced. Having one over the other, it's not doing you any favors. So what is your cycle telling you? Let's talk about Femigen and Progestins Plus. Let's look at our monthly cycle. And when we talk about monthly cycle, we're not just talking about a period. Monthly cycle means literal day 1 to day 30, or whatever how many days your cycle actually is. It's something that's overlooked. And when people say, oh, I'm on my cycle, you think your period, but that's not it. You need to make sure that throughout the entire month that your cycle is doing what it should be. There are different phases. There are 4 phases of your cycle, not just one. Phase 1 is your menstrual phase. So that's day 1 to the end of your period. So on day 1 of your cycle, progesterone plunges and the lining of your uterus sheds. Estrogen levels are also low. And throughout the week, that's why you're bleeding. Estrogen starts a steady climb as you work through your period. And your energy is going to be low because of that as well. So you might feel tired or withdrawn. That is normal. You might need to rest a bit more than you usually do. If you're able to take a day off or so, please do that as well. If you need to kind of work your schedule around your period, do it. Give your body what it needs. Don't try to say, well, I'm strong, I can do it. I need to keep going and I need to get this done and that done. You can. but give a day, at least a day or two, for your body to be able to recover and do what it needs to do. If you're impeding that, your body's not able to do what it needs to do, and it needs to shed the lining, and it needs to bleed, and it needs to go through this process. Phase 2 is your follicular phase. So that happens just after menstruation. It's called follicular phase because your pituitary gland releases a hormone called FSH, and that stimulates the follicles in your ovaries to mature. Estrogen and testosterone rises until they peak. A little fun fact, you build more muscle and build it faster when you do resistance exercises during the first half of your cycle. So week 1, week 2, compared to when you do it on the second half. So estrogen helps you to build more muscle if that's what you're looking to do, beginning phase of the month. Phase 3 is your ovulatory cycle or phase. Ovulation is the culmination of all the hard work that your body has been doing. The past week, an egg will get released from its follicle in your ovary, and it'll survive for about 12 to 24 hours. That's it. Progesterone is going to start to rise, and estrogen and testosterone rise to peak levels at that point. And that's probably the time that you're going to feel the best, because that means they're both balanced. They're both at their peak. Your progesterone is making you feel good. Your estrogen is making you feel good. You might even feel like, hey, I look a little bit more svelte right now than the rest of the month, or you feel like you want to wear your favorite outfit. It's all for a reason. It's because you've gotten to that phase in your cycle. So in the last phase, phase 4 is your luteal phase. The first 2 to 3 days of this phase, you'll feel like a lot like the ovulatory phase. Changes in estrogen, testosterone are starting to decline. Your body's going to start producing more progesterone. But then what happens is that it ends up being a little bit more difficult. So that means these are the days getting up to your period. That's when some women start to feel PMS symptoms like cravings for comfort foods, bloating, breast tenderness, headaches, anxiety, moodiness. They're not in your head. It actually is a physiological reaction to your hormones changing. So yes, they were made to fluctuate. However, they should all be balanced. And when they're not balanced is when you feel those symptoms. That's when Progestins Plus becomes your BFF. Because if you're needing for your progesterone level to be higher, if your estrogen is too high, you need to raise those progesterone levels higher. It is a serum from wild yam that's infused with sacred frankincense essential oil. It is best to take it after you've ovulated and through the end of your period. Adding a few drops on your forearms is the best way to do it. You can interchange that with your inner ankles, behind your knee, and the back of your neck as well. And Femigen specifically supports the female reproductive system. So if you are someone who deals with low libido, this might be something that you would want to look into as well. So thyroid trouble. Thiamine is another really great supplement that you can take if your thyroid, your T3, your T4 is needing a little bit of help. Something I always suggest as well, because we're not doctors here, make sure you're getting a full blood hormonal panel. Ask your doctor for your T3, your T4, not just thyroid, but a full hormonal blood panel. That way you know what it is that you're deficient in, and you know which supplements to take, instead of just willy-nilly like, oh, I think it's this, oh, I think it's that, and just taking a supplement, because that might not be what you actually need. All right. We're going to continue to your adrenal glands now. Your adrenal glands you might have heard of adrenal cocktails. Those are to kind of help your adrenals get back to where they need to go. But what are the adrenal glands? They're basically small organs that sit on top of the kidneys, and they maintain it and boost your energy. It's kind of like a car that shifts into first, second, third gear as you're going throughout the day. But they also help your body survive when it comes to stressful situations. So because many of us live in a stressful environment, we get worn down quickly. And that's when comes in adrenal fatigue. Also, though, an excessive amount of caffeine, a lack of sleep, emotional stress, demanding schedules, hormonal imbalances, your diet, too much alcohol, all of these can be causing fatigue on your adrenal glands as well. Now, if you use Powergize, this supplement adds wonderful herbs and essential oils to help your adrenals and basically your whole endocrine system to give it a little boost. It combines blue spruce, goldenrod, acacia, essential oils, and those all help with stamina and performance. And also ashwagandha root. So ashwagandha is an herb, an herb that they've been using for many, many, many years. And it works as an adaptogen. So that basically means that it helps your body be able to manage stress and give your adrenals the rest that it needs. It's kind of like, okay, I'm here to, you rest a little bit as I do my job. Stress, we spoke about as well, something that really can cause and take a toll on our bodies. Cortistop and PD-8020 are two supplements that are super important when you have, for instance, something like PCOS or Hashimoto's or anything like that. A lot of times you might decide to not eat breakfast in the morning because you think that you want to do the what is it called, the fasting diet, right? There's that's been very popular, but what that actually does is that causes your cortisol to spike. And it actually does the opposite, because then your sugars go out of whack. And instead of you losing weight, thinking that that's what you're going to do if you're trying to do this fasting diet, it's doing the opposite for you. So actually having a protein rich breakfast with healthy fats like avocados is something really important to do in the mornings. If you're not hungry in the morning, you want to eat when you're hungry. If you're not hungry in the morning, then you might want to try to find out what it is that's causing for you not to feel hungry in the morning. That usually is because of your kidneys or your liver are not doing so great. Something like acupuncture can really help with that as well. But Cortistop, when you do have very high cortisol levels, it's an amazing supplement to naturally balance your stress response. It also contains pregnenolone, I can never say this, pregnenolone, I think it is, and DHEA as well. If those are things that you know that your body is needing, you've discussed that with your doctor, this one is definitely for you. Another one, PD-8020. It also has it's called PD-8020 because it has your pregnenolone and DHEA, PD, in an 80-20 ratio. So it's really great to use along with Femigen that we spoke about earlier as well. Pregnenolone is the key precursor for the body's production of estrogen, DHEA, and progesterone. It also has a lot to do with memory and mental acuity. So if in your family, maybe you have Alzheimer's that runs in your family, and on mine it does, that might be something that you might be lacking in your body as well, and could be something you look into. Okay, we're going to continue on here and talking about emotional roots of our health issues. Our emotions are obviously something that it's a part of your brain where your nerve cells are created, and it's connected to the part that processes emotions, and it's also connected to our sense of smell. That is the hippocampus. Emotions and the sense of smell are so correlated, and it's so correlated to our hormones being out of whack. For instance, have you ever smelled a cookie that reminds you of the cookies that your grandmother used to make when you were little, and it gives you a big smile on your face, and it just gives you like happy feels? Scents cause an emotional response based on memories as well. There could also be a scent that completely throws you off and you absolutely find disgusting because it's linked to a time maybe where you smelled something when something really bad was happening, and now your brain correlates that scent to that bad memory. So scents really and our brain work hand in hand. So two things that are really great for diffusing in emotions are nutmeg and energy. It's the name of the oil nutmeg. We've talked about that a little bit, why it's so great for our adrenals, but it also helps you manage stress and supports your immune health. And by inhaling it, it can even send a hello signal to your tired brain and help your thyroid and tired thyroid and adrenals as well. Energy, that's kind of self-explanatory, right? If you're needing some energy, that might be a great one for you to use. Now, as someone ages, you might need things like regenolone, pregnenolone, and sclerostin is an essential oil. Regenolone is a moisturizing cream that helps with natural estrogen support. Pregnenolone is a cream that not only has regenolone, but also DHEA, which is really important for preventing bone loss. It improves your estrogen production, lowers inflammation, and improves even your heart health. And then sclerostin is rich in phytoestrogens. So phytoestrogens are basically a plant-based compound that is similar to human estrogen, and it's recognized as in our body as estrogen. So there's a thought that it also helps your body create it because it triggers that memory of you needing estrogen. Okay. So there was a lot of products that we talked about throughout this class. Something that we always recommend is trying this on Loyalty Rewards, trying these different products that you might need. The reason is because it's a more economic way. Instead of maybe buying everything at once, you can do it little by little. You get points into your account, which then leads to free products. And in the future that you can get, I usually get about $900 in free products a year from just accumulating these points by using Loyalty Rewards. So if you're going to get Ningxia 1 month and you want to add one of these essential oils or one of these products, you can do that. You'll accumulate your Loyalty Rewards points. And so it's a fun perk in being able to help your hormones out as well. So there is an Adrenal Love Wellness box that you can get. So if you're wanting a list of these products that we've talked about today, I can send those over to you. And that way you have them. And then whenever you're wanting to get one, you remember what it is, or if you want it for the future as well, or want to share it with someone, you can also do that. I'm going to just stop sharing my screen now. Okay, I know this was a lot of rapid fire information. I could be talking here for 2 hours. It's a topic that I'm very passionate about. I am a PCOS advocate. That's polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's something that I have, and then now I help women as well to kind of manage their PCOS. I used to have hypothyroidism, so I totally sympathize with you if that is your case as well. My dad had hyperthyroidism, so I sympathize with you as well if that was your case. But I hope that this was helpful, at least a little, to understand how it is that our hormones are correlated. And it's not just a one size fits all for hormones. You really need to see case by case the situation, what it is, not only that you're feeling, but then what the root cause of that is, so that you know how to treat it and how your hormones can be happy. If you're feeling these symptoms, it's not normal. It's common, not normal. You can do something about it, which is the best part. Vanessa says, this class was so enlightening. Will we be able to get a link for the recording? Absolutely. I am going to put my IG handle here in the comments. If you don't mind, Vanessa, would you mind just shooting me over a message? And feel free to follow as well. And then that way I can send it over to you. And if there's anyone else that would like the recording, happy to share that with you as well. Any questions? I don't want to keep you here too long, but just in case someone has a question, you're welcome. If not, thank you so much for being here and for taking the time for these past 45 minutes. Sorry, it was a little bit longer than a half hour I planned on, but there's so much when it comes to hormones, a lot to talk about. And I feel like it's so necessary for us to understand our bodies better. So Thank you all so much. My pleasure. So nice to see you all, and we'll talk next time. Bye.